My boyfriend said, I never wanted kids. I just told you what you needed to hear so you'd keep sleeping with me. I nodded. Got it. What he didn't know was that I was already 8 weeks pregnant. I'd bought these tiny Jordan sneakers from the Nike outlet, recorded myself crying happy tears to send to my mom later, even practiced different ways to tell him while sitting in my car after the doctor's appointment like a complete fool. But when Enzo dropped that bomb over dinner, his face completely emotionless like he was discussing the weather, talking about how he'd been stringing me along just to keep getting laid, I just nodded quietly. Thanks for being honest, I said, watching him shovel pasta into his mouth like he hadn't just destroyed everything. He looked genuinely annoyed that I wasn't crying or screaming, probably wanted some dramatic scene he could tell his boys about later. Instead, I cleared his plate and washed the dishes. The whole time, he kept making comments about how I was being weird and passive-aggressive. The next morning, I walked straight into the nursery furniture store downtown and bought everything myself. $3,000 on my credit card, just like that. The salesman looked concerned when I said it was just for me, but didn't ask questions. Then, I did something completely necessary. I changed my locks that same day. He'd always found reasons to delay, claimed 30 was too young to start trying, threw away my prenatal vitamins saying I was getting ahead of myself. I'm glad I don't have to hear that nonsense anymore. 3 weeks later, I was standing in my half-painted nursery at 3 a.m. with mint green paint in my hair, started going to prenatal appointments alone, downloaded pregnancy apps, and joined single mom Facebook groups. For the first time since finding out, I felt genuinely excited about my future. Every single day brought new baby preparations. Meanwhile, my friend kept me updated on Enzo's new bachelor lifestyle through social media. He was posting gym selfies constantly, hitting strip clubs every weekend with his trashy friends, commenting on other girls' bikini pics with fire emojis. According to her, he was bragging to everyone about dodging a bullet and escaping the baby trap before it was too late. 2 months later, I met Cameron when he helped me carry my groceries to my car. He owned a construction company, had this incredibly gentle way of talking, and immediately offered to help build my nursery furniture. We started meeting for decaf coffee, but really we were just slowly falling into something beautiful. We started dating soon after, and it was a blissful time. 7 months in, I found out the gender of the baby. I'd kept the gender secret for 14 days, but now I was ready to tell Cameron. We sat by the park fountain, and I pulled out the envelope my doctor had sealed. This is it, I said, waving it playfully. Then my stupid pregnancy brain completely betrayed me. The envelope flew from my hand straight into the fountain. I watched the ink spread through the wet paper like watching my perfect moment dissolve. I completely lost it, sobbing uncontrollably about ruining everything and being an awful mom. Cameron pulled me against his chest, rubbing my back while I ugly cried into his shirt. Hey, we're gonna fix this, he said. You're not ruining anything. You're exhausted, you're growing a baby, and you dropped one piece of paper. That doesn't erase how incredible you are. He kissed the top of my head. This is what we're gonna do. There's an art store 5 minutes away. We'll get pink and blue paint and a canvas. You know what it is, right? I nodded against his chest. Perfect. I'll close my eyes, you paint my hand the right color, and we'll make something beautiful. 20 minutes later in my apartment, I carefully painted his palm while he sat on the floor, eyes clamped shut, practically vibrating with excitement. No peeking, I warned, pressing our hands onto the canvas. When he finally looked, he jumped up screaming, we're having a girl. Oh my god, I always wanted to be a girl dad. He spun me around right there, both of us covered in pink paint. I posted it on Instagram with, it's a girl, and watched the likes pour in. 2 days later, while Cameron and I were eating breakfast burritos at our kitchen table, my phone absolutely exploded with notification after notification from Enzo. That's my kid, isn't it? You were pregnant when I left. How could you not tell me? Then another message. I saw your Instagram post. Pink handprints? Really? You're having my daughter and didn't even tell me? And another. This is so messed up. I have rights. Answer me right now. I showed them to Cameron, who read through them carefully while chewing his burrito, then nearly choked from laughing so hard. Tell him you found someone who doesn't need to lie about wanting to be a dad, he said, stealing a bite of my hash browns. So I sent back exactly that. I found someone who doesn't need to lie about wanting this baby. Have fun at strip clubs.